Satnam. A few minutes late because, oops, there we go.
Yeah.
Because the alarm didn't go off. So I actually was feeling like I'd been sitting here a while.
Really?
So I did look at my clock,
Ah,
and
look at you.
it was 12:14.
Oh.
So
See, I would have been meditating for another 6 hours.
so we're on day 8. Day 8. We're actually outside, so I don't have the computer with me today. So if you're here, leave us a comment, and we'll get to it afterwards. And you want to go today? You want to go first? Did you have?
Do I usually go first?
I mean, do you want to? I'm going to
Yeah,
put my
I
shades
can go
on. It's a little
first.
bright.
Yeah, it is
Excuse
bright.
me.
I didn't really have. I didn't have anything come up. I only had one thing. I had to go back and search the records for it because she like touched my arm. She goes, "You're sleeping." I go, "You just messed up my thought."
I'm so sorry about that.
And I wasn't
you were
sleeping.
snoring.
Actually, I was right between wherever,
Oopsie.
like not sleeping.
In the veil.
Yeah, it was just right there. And so I was in this. I wasn't in it. I just saw this long path of like green, and there was this gate.
Oh.
And then I was thinking, there's no way. What's your saying? There's no way.
No way out but through.
Yeah, see, there's no way out but through. And then I was like thinking that. I was like, oh, there's no way out but through the gate. And then the gate just kind of dissolved. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then she touched me, and then I was like, oh. So I wasn't really sleeping. So as soon as she touched me, I was like instantly back. I was like, what the hell? But then I
so
searched.
sorry.
I had
I'll
to
never
go.
do that again.
I had to go back, and I was able to retrieve it. I was like, I'm never going to be able to remember where I was, but I did. I just kind of thought about it for a second and actually came back because
Where were you?
yeah, because
Do you know what thought you were in? Is it a thought you'd like to share?
oh no, I mean I wasn't having a thought. That was the thing. It wasn't a thought.
Did the gate come back?
No, not after you touched me. That it never came back after that. The gate and the grass field looked like, and so it was just green and a gate, and
Nice.
not really that definable gate. There's nothing special about it. But I was thinking, but then as soon as I saw it, I had your thought about that, and then yeah, and then it kind of dissolved, and then that's your way through, so you can't get to the other side, you got to go through, but yeah, I never got back there. That would have taken thought, and I wasn't even having a thought about what was happening when I was seeing that. I was having no thought at all about anything, and then that just kind of just came up. So that's interesting. I guess that's what they mean when they say, well, this came up for me. It came up. I wasn't thinking about it coming up.
Right.
Yeah. Because I was having all kinds of other thoughts before that, so those weren't coming up. Those were just thoughts.
Yeah, we had again. It was Monday, so we had a spin class this morning.
Yeah.
Excuse me, which is about 16 miles away. So that was from 9 to 10, and we came back home. I don't know, 20 to 11. We were sitting at 11:11, got a shower, and get out here. We decided to sit outside because, as you can see, absolutely gorgeous out here today. And I just noticed the camera's like wonky. We're a little bit wonky. And I woke up, I got lots of thoughts on my mind today, and I was thinking about that, stirring waters. And so we stir them a little bit in the beginning, and then we get a little clarity, and we're like, cool. And then the deeper we get in, the more we're going to stir waters. My meditation teacher, Dalai Lama, all say the mind is an ocean, right? So if the mind's an ocean, there is a bed. There is a bed of silt, there's a bed of stuff, right? And these thoughts keep coming up, and they're full of thoughts, and then when we start to go in there and we can settle some of them, we're going to stir up our water, so then it can feel murky. It's like cleansing, because it is cleansing the mind, it's like cleansing the body. So So there's that period of time when all the drudge is all coming up. You know, it's like you excavated one area, and of course now other is loose, and it's coming up. So, but again, with that, I do know that the only way out of that is to go through it. And I think about this stuff, if we don't sit with it, then it stays down there, and maybe we don't stir it. It's not in our everyday, but it's there polluting our waters, you know. And then one of the things I always say is the only constant is change. And today the message came through as I was thinking about this this little skirt I'm wearing. It's not anything. I mean, I don't have a lot of clothes because I haven't bought clothes in a very long time. And this skirt it's just a little denim skirt, and I've had it not worn it, and I've worn it. I filled it out. It's been loose on me. It's been too tight on me. And the message today was the only constant is you, and you are subject to change. And so it's not the change we've got to love, it's the you, right? Within the change we can love that, but we are the constant. So if we are changing, if I'm filling out my skirt, if I'm not filling out my skirt, I'm the constant in that equation. It's not the wave, it's not anything else, it's me. And so I really love that. It was, it came through as like, the only constant is you. I think I sniggered. I was like, huh. And then it says, and you are subject to change. But you are constant. And that's one of the things that I personally don't really like about before and after stories, when people ask for before and after, because as someone who's released 85 pounds and changed literally my whole daily life, where do I draw the line of this was me before and this is me after? And then what about the afters? Because that after doesn't stay the same. So this whole before and after, this is one journey, and it's all part of it. And we keep trying to segment it out. When really what we have is right now, and when you build right now onto the last moment, onto the next moment, that's just our life. That's what we're doing. Like my friend said yesterday that her 7-month trip was coming to an end. And I said, well, what if it's not coming to an end? What if it's just part of the journey, right? So instead of being like, oh, this is ended and now this is beginning, that this is opening and unfolding to this. And I don't know where I'm going with that, but that's what was coming up for me.
No,
I'm just making sure I'm not
there's no definite
up my shirt
end.
here. No definite
Is that what you're
end.
saying? There's no definite end.
No, there's no definite end and beginning.
things,
So we're born. The only definite end and beginning for this lifetime in this body is we're born and we die.
Right.
And then we want to say, well, I've got to do these segments, but it's one long life, and a beautiful life is built up from beautiful moments, just moments, not big, huge things happening. And that's where we get kind of caught up. It's like yesterday for Mother's Day. What did you do with your mom? Did you take her out for something lavish and give her a nice big present, bring her big flowers? Did you have a conversation with her? I was just talking to somebody after spin, and her daughters came home, and her favorite part of the day was that she had 3 conversations with one of her daughters, because there was time and space, because they did something very simple, so that they actually had energetically, they could be present. Sounds very California, right? Energetically, they could be present. But think about that. Think about how many times your family gets together and you don't actually get to even sit down and see what's going on with them and how they're doing. Or what they're interested in now, because it's been a couple of years since you've seen them. And so, yeah, presence.
Yep. It's true.
I was thinking about I had awesome thoughts about the Get Your Happy Back Business Club, the Biz Club, the GYHB Biz Club. I just saw the process in that, how we take, in Get Your Happy Back, we take them through the stages, the inventory, excavate your life so that you can become the architect of your future. And so you know who you are and where you are. Well, the same for business. It's going to be that same process. Going back to why an entrepreneur is in business, because they want to make impact, because they want freedom, and because they want the profit to do good, right? But oftentimes that gets lost in the business model, and then they get lost as well. So start bringing those two together. So that's that's forming. So this is what's quite exciting, and that's why I wanted to share this with you live, is because it's very easy to just sit and have, let's say, that hour and think, oh, that was really cool, and then get on with your day and not distill what just happened. And so often that's what we forget to do. We forget the distillation process. And imagine, I don't know what's distilled, but things that are distilled, if they're not distilled, they wouldn't be the same. So the distillation process is what now takes out those extra fine bits of matter to make it completely smooth, right? And that's what's the meditation. It's not all just the sitting, and it's not all just the meditating and training the mind, as we spoke about yesterday. I think a lot of it is the space. I've been thinking about that since that came up. Was it yesterday or the day before? And I was saying, like, we perhaps need less meditation and more sitting space, sitting with our mind. And I think that's probably true for most of us. And then from there, especially for creative people, I truly believe all of us are creative, that how can you be creative in chaos? How can you be creative in being scheduled up to the hilt? How can you be creative in a schedule? I mean, you don't just sit and write and paint or create because it's 9 o'clock and you've got a 2-hour window, right? And so the space that you can create in your mind, and your monkey mind will tell you, mine told me today, you haven't got time for this really. Like, we had a really busy day yesterday, so it feels like since we went to spin on Saturday, and we ended up spin again today, that we've really just wasn't much time between the two, because it's been busy. And then we get back today from spin and we sit and do our hour, and then we do this recording. We haven't eaten yet, and so it's 12:30 in the afternoon, and mine's saying, you're busy, you've got stuff to do, and this is, what are you doing? Kind of, I don't know is what I'm doing. And what I know I'm doing is what we're doing, and that's sitting for an hour every day and sitting with you and distilling what comes out. We have no expectation because neither of us have been here before. I've done 40-day practices, not sitting for an hour like this. Samaj never sat for an hour before we started a week last Monday, right?
No.
How do you feel 8 days in that you actually sat? And I mean, that's a chunk of time, 8 hours.
I feel good.
It's almost like going out and doing your first 100-mile ride, and then you've consistently done your 100-mile rides. And so you're being a weekend rider is great, doing 20 to 30 miles. That's awesome. But then when you go to the next level, it's just that it feels like it's that next level, right? And you come back, and of course you get out what you put in. So, and definitely the anxiety, not the anxiety, but the crabbiness that we had last week, setting up on the first day, that hasn't happened since. In fact, each day has been completely smooth, getting started.
She said we.
It was him too. He was like really crabby. He said he wasn't coming the next day.
Fine.
Took his bat and ball away. I mean, come on now. Who says that?
I don't want to play. She's a bad player.
He's sitting here saying the only way out is through. And he's like, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. He's not going through at all.
She's creating a disturbance in the force.
It's crazy, I tell you.
Oh.
So yeah, I've got lots of voices today. The symphony is pretty loud. And that's okay, because that's the resistance. If I'm not okay with the symphony being really, really loud, then I'm going to do something to make it quieter. And so this swirling stomach that I'm feeling, and the kind of dry throat, and the little bit like this, feels a little better now because I went to spin for an hour and sweated it out. And I noticed a couple of breaks where we were done some hard pushes, and then there'd be like the recovery, and then once I'd done a little recovery, then the thoughts would start again. But then thank God we had an 8-minute hill to go up, so there's no thoughts there. Breathing, pushing, breathing, pushing, and then we had to come back and do this. So actually, it's carried me through, and now I can actually say, well, I've done my spin class, I've done my sit and drop, done my recording. Now go eat some food. Right? So
It's interesting.
So, I mean, 8 days of 40, so there's 22 more to go. And when we said 40, I probably think that I'm going to just continue, but we may be traveling in June off grid, so we wouldn't be able to tune in. So we're doing to as long as we think we can. Like, it's set for 40 right now, but I'm feeling that this is a practice that's really paying in my life. I like it. I enjoy sitting with you. It's really awesome to just have this. And that's another thing, is having to come to you and share with you and having it scheduled, because we were saying today, it would have been so easy over the last couple of days to kind of move it and jig it, and then it wouldn't have happened. And as my teacher always told us, when you don't do your day on your 40-day practice, you no longer have a 40-day practice, you're back at day one. And that's cool, that's okay. But there's something about setting that commitment and doing it that is even more powerful than the actual doing of the thing, in my world anyway, because so many times we make agreements with ourselves and we say we're going to do something and we don't do it. So our empirical history and evidence is, you say you're going to do something, but you don't do it. So once we start saying we're going to do something and we do it, especially when it's difficult to fit in, then something happens.
That's when change happens.
That's when change happens.
Yep. That's it.
You can't change if you don't change.
No, you can't.
Right? And so often it's so tempting, like the vision yesterday of being in the middle of your own fight and looking outwardly for someone else to be able to have a fire extinguisher or whatever it is that you need. And so you're like, kind of like this. And you're just like, where's it going to come from? Where's it going to come from? When actually, if you can sit, then you actually might get a whisper. You might sit for a whole hour, you might just get the tiniest little whisper. And there would be a little bit more clarity. So, day by day, step by step, hour by hour, sit and drop. 11:11. I'm at the dentist tomorrow at 10:50. So we will not be sitting and dropping at 11:11. Let me think about that. It's just a checkup, but I need to have x-rays, and if they're running late. So let's be safe. Let's say, what do we say, 1:11? No, 1:11 to sit, 2:12 to record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works.
1:11 to sit, 2:12 to record. Keeping in those ones, I like it. So tomorrow, 1:11, 2:12, going live with you, and we'll see what comes up.
Yep.
So until then, thank you so much for joining us. And if you'd like to sit and drop, all you need to do is find a place to sit, inside or out, that you're not going to fall asleep. Set your timer, close your eyes, sit and drop, let your mind go wherever it wants to go, as if it was a child in a playground, and as long as you're there with it, everything is cool. You're sitting, you're there with it, let your mind go, and just see what it's got to say to you. You may have a whisper or two. So, we'd love to know. Leave your comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you know someone who would like it, share it, give us a thumbs up, because that really helps us. And if you'd like to pledge to support more yoga in the world, more of these videos, you can do that. There is a link up in the corner, one of the corners. I'm not sure which one it is. It's not in my corner, but I bet it's on your screen. And come over to the Feel Better Life, thefeelbetterlife.com, to join us over there. Oh yeah, so that's what we're doing. Thefeelbetterlife.com. It's his new thing.
I know, I love it.
I love it too. And we will see you soon.